Okay, this little video is regarding the question of, has anything particularly helped me or made things worse along the way? Yes, many things. From my first video, you know that I mean, certainly all of my adult life and some of my adolescent life has been wrestling with the mental health difficulties that I've had. So there are an enormous number of things, and there continue to be as well. So I'm in a period of recovery, and there are things that help with that and hinder that. One of the big helps in a way has just been time and aging, and I think moving to a position in life where a lot of my mantra is about taking things lightly. My husband, who has been the most phenomenal help throughout all of this, has always taken a stance in sort of his life more generally, but with me as well, about just reframing things that feel very acute at a time or of crucial importance in a grander scheme of things, and being able to kind of step back and appraise things a bit more sensibly than I've been able to at times. And so I've kind of gradually over time been able to readjust my values and kind of beliefs to encapsulate that, and that helps a lot when I can feel little tugs at my thoughts again trying to drag me back in. Just take things lightly and to be able to step back, which is really helpful. I've been helped a lot in all sorts of ways by my husband, with his love and support, also with him generally taking a stance of things being my own responsibility, not in a neglectful way at all, but more that when I've tried to kind of push back or say things like, oh, I need you to do this, to put like some structure in for me or whatever, he's been like, well, that's okay, but the actual point is about I'm not here to be your parent, which is correct. So he's been fantastically helpful, and it's so awful now. No, I could cry really easily now if I go too much into it, but just how much distress he's had to go through being with me through all of this. My friends have been amazing. Some haven't, but some have been fantastic and have walked that fine line between making allowances for me and for me being very controlling about things, and also kind of giving me a gentle nudge when I've needed it to not be so difficult. I had a major job change, which was an absolute disaster, but that actually made the difference for me in really making me deal with things. I also had a lot of help from podcasts from the Health at Every Size community when I was going through recovery and kind of dealing with putting on weight and thinking about what that signified. In terms of things that haven't helped, for me, a lot of that has been family stuff, which I can't really go into, but just to put that out there, work for me at times, and actually when I was working as a clinical psychologist with really quite distressed people, probably in hindsight was not very helpful for me. And actually I don't think I was necessarily the most helpful I could be for the people when I was functioning with a brain that was in an anorexic state. And also just physically, I mean, what that must have been like for them to come in and see a therapist who probably did look an absolute state. Nutritionists, I went to see several of, very unhelpful, and I would say irresponsible for agreeing to work with me when I was clearly very, very unwell, and they were not in a position to deal with an anorexic person. They weren't qualified to do that. My own therapy, which I'll come on to in another video. I think also, I have to take some responsibility as well for being very unhelpful to myself. And actually there's an awful lot to be said for compassion in terms of that it is a responsibility to be compassionate for yourself and actually take on what is that's really tough for a lot of people in the world, to be compassionate to themselves. It's been very tough for me, but actually I've had to take that on, and I have been my own worst enemy at times for that. So there are many things, and it's quite difficult to sort of tease all of that apart, and also all of those things at certain times have been more or less helpful, and more or less of a hindrance than others as well. So it's a very up and down picture.